The weight of her name. They thought framing a black teenager would be easy. They figured nobody powerful would notice. No one important would care. They forgot one crucial detail: her brother could flip the entire courtroom on its head. Maya Johnson never imagined a quick trip to a strip mall in Mesa, Arizona, could put her entire future at risk. At 17, she was already accepted into Stanford's pre-law program. Her teachers called her brilliant. Her track coach called her unstoppable, and her parents, both middle school educators, couldn't have been prouder. That Saturday was supposed to be uneventful. Finals were 2 weeks away, and Maya needed a new backpack. Her old one had finally fallen apart. She headed to a discount store called Value Depot. It wasn't glamorous, but it was affordable and close. She even remembered her mom's half-joking advice from that morning: "Don't go spending a fortune on zippers, May." Inside, the place was bustling. Kids raced down aisles, a cashier called for a price check on aisle 5, and fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Maya found a navy blue backpack pretty quickly. She waited in line, phone in hand, scrolling through messages when a man in a red polo shirt tapped her shoulder. He said he was the store manager. "I need you to come with me to the back," he said flatly. Maya blinked. "What? Why?" "Someone reported you for putting merchandise in your bag," he replied. She stared at him, confused. "I haven't touched anything else," but his mind was made up. Customers stared as she was led through the store. Maya felt their eyes cling to her, judging, labeling in a cramped back office. The manager asked her to empty her pockets and backpack. She did. Her hands trembled. Out came her phone, wallet, lip balm, and the new backpack, which still had the security tag. Nothing else. The manager frowned, disappointed she wasn't guilty, but he still said it was policy to call the police. Maya pleaded, but it didn't matter. When the officer arrived, he was polite, even apologetic, as he handcuffed her. "I'm sorry," he said, "but this is just procedure." She sat in the back of the cruiser, watching her life unravel through the window. This wasn't supposed to happen to girls like her, the ones who worked hard, followed rules, had dreams. Down at the precinct, they booked her for petty theft. She kept repeating it was a mistake. No one listened. Hours later, wrists still red from the cuffs, they handed her a court date and sent her home. That night, she cried into her pillow, careful not to let her parents hear. She couldn't stop thinking about everything she might lose: her scholarship, her reputation, the future she'd worked so hard for, threatened by a lie. The court date came too fast. Her parents hired a local attorney named Mr. Davies. He was soft-spoken, indifferent, and barely paid attention to her story. "These things usually work themselves out," he said. "Just stay calm." Maya walked into the Maricopa County Courthouse wearing her best dress. She clutched a folder of honor roll certificates, glowing teacher recommendations, and a letter from Stanford's admissions team. She hoped it would matter. It didn't. Judge Eleanor Vance presided, a woman with silver hair pulled into a severe bun and eyes that looked through people more than at them. When Maya's name was called, the judge didn't even flinch. Maya pleaded not guilty. Judge Vance didn't ask for the surveillance footage that missed her. Mr. Davies briefly mentioned it, noting the lack of any questions directed at Maya. Instead, the judge reviewed the police report with apparent disinterest, then casually announced that there was probable cause for a felony charge. Felony. The word stabbed through Maya's chest like glass. Her whole life, the one she'd built honor by honor, was now dangling off the edge of a false accusation. She wanted to scream, but she'd been raised to stay calm. So she sat down silently, tears hot behind her eyes, and thought about who she could call, someone who would believe her, someone who had power. And one name came to mind: her brother, Caleb Johnson. But calling Caleb wasn't a step, it was a detonation. He wasn't just family. He was the youngest deputy attorney general in the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Calling him meant throwing a match into a courtroom soaked in gasoline. 2 weeks passed in a blur. Maya barely slept. Her parents barely ate. And on the morning of the next hearing, Maya sat in the back of her father's car, staring out the window while her mother whispered prayers. She kept hearing Caleb's voice from the night before. "Stay calm. I'm watching everything from DC. If it gets bad, I'll step in." She had no idea how bad it was going to get. Inside courtroom 2B, Maya sat beside Mr. Davies. He looked more like someone waiting for jury duty than a defense attorney. He promised he'd ask for the video footage today. Judge Vance entered, robes sweeping behind her like a storm cloud. Case number 6013, Maya Johnson. Maya stood, her legs shaking. Mr. Davies cleared his throat. "Your Honor, the defense respectfully submits a motion to obtain the security footage from Value Depot, which clearly shows." "Denied," Judge Vance interrupted coldly. "The police report is sufficient. Trial will proceed." Maya's mouth dropped open. She turned to Mr. Davies. "Say something," she begged silently. He didn't. "Not open for discussion," Judge Vance snapped, banging her gavel. Then she turned to the young prosecutor. "Do you wish to amend the charges?" "Yes, Your Honor," the prosecutor said, flipping a page. "Based on new information, the state moves to elevate charges to felony grand theft." Gasps erupted. Mr. Davies stood up. "That's outrageous." "Enough," Judge Vance barked. "Let the jury decide. Cash bail is set at $5,000. Maya's parents looked like the ground had fallen out beneath them. Outside the courtroom, Mr. Davies mumbled something about appeals. Maya didn't hear him. She reached for her phone and sent one message. "It's happening. I need you." She didn't wait long. Her phone buzzed. "Don't sign anything. I'm making calls." And across the country, Caleb Johnson was already in motion. He didn't go through aides. He picked up his personal line and called an old friend, Julian Hayes, assistant U.S. attorney in Phoenix. "There's a judge in Mesa trying to bury my sister. I want eyes in that courtroom in 1 hour." Julian didn't hesitate. "I'm on it." "And Julian," Caleb added, "dig into Judge Vance. Everything, every complaint, every sealed settlement." In a courthouse cafeteria, Maya sat between her parents. Her mom stared into a paper cup of water like it was a crystal ball. Her dad rubbed his temples. Maya's phone buzzed again. "Is the judge still there?" "Yes." "Different case now. Stay put. Tell your lawyer to do nothing unless I say so. I'm sending someone." Minutes later, a tall man in a tailored navy suit walked into the cafeteria. He moved like he belonged there. His eyes locked on Maya. "Ms. Johnson." She nodded. He flashed a badge. "Julian Hayes. Caleb sent me." Maya exhaled so deeply it felt like she hadn't breathed since the cuffs clicked shut. Julian sat down, pulled out a notepad, and said, "Tell me everything." She did: the backpack, the false accusation, the courtroom ambush. Her parents filled in the gaps. Julian listened, took notes, nodding occasionally. Then he stood. "We're filing an emergency motion to compel surveillance footage. Caleb's already found enough on Judge Vance to rattle the walls." Maya blinked. "That fast?" Julian smirked. "He moves faster when he's mad." Within the hour, Julian was in the clerk's office. The clerk, a woman named Denise, paled at his badge. "This court is about to be the subject of a federal investigation," he whispered. "If you stall, you're part of it." She vanished into the judge's chambers. Minutes later, Maya was summoned again, this time for a reconsideration hearing. Judge Vance looked furious. Her eyes darted between Julian and Maya like she'd been ambushed. Julian didn't blink. "Your Honor, the U.S. Attorney's Office requests immediate review of Value Depot's footage. We also submit prior allegations of misconduct against this court." The courtroom froze. Judge Vance turned beet red. "This is highly irregular." Julian raised a brow. "And yet, here we are." She banged her gavel. Motion under review. Court adjourned. She fled. Outside, Maya turned to Julian. Is that it? Do we win? Not yet, he said. But we got her running. 2 hours later, a black SUV pulled up to the courthouse. Caleb Johnson stepped out. No suit, just jeans and a leather jacket, ready for war. Inside, Judge Vance locked herself in chambers. Caleb didn't care. He handed Denise an envelope. A federal investigation had begun. By the next morning, the courthouse was in chaos. Reporters swarmed the steps. Staff whispered. Bailiffs looked nervous. In the emergency hearing, Judge Vance tried to maintain control. She didn't have it anymore. Julian stood and submitted 32 misconduct complaints, sealed settlements, and a clear pattern of discriminatory rulings. Judge Vance sputtered, "This is irrelevant." Caleb stood, his voice cutting through the courtroom. "With all due respect, Your Honor, when a judge's integrity is compromised, nothing else can proceed." The silence was deafening. Then came the gavel. Charges dismissed without prejudice. Not cheers, just stunned gasps. Maya exhaled. For the first time, she felt weightless. Outside, Caleb addressed reporters. "My sister's story isn't rare. It's the story of countless young people steamrolled by a system that refuses to see them. This ends now." That night, Judge Vance resigned. Investigations spread across Arizona. Old cases were reopened. Wrongful convictions overturned. Maya quietly returned home. She didn't want glory. She just wanted peace. And she got it. Stanford reinstated her scholarship with an additional award for leadership and courage. Before classes began, Maya took one last call to Judge Vance. "I'm not calling to forgive you," she said. "And I'm not here to curse you out. I'm calling to say you lost." Judge Vance replied, "You don't understand how things work." "I understand enough," Maya answered. "Enough to know I'm not living in the world you tried to trap me in." She hung up, then walked to the water barefoot, letting the waves crash against her skin. She wasn't alone anymore, and neither was anyone else willing to stand up and fight. The weight of her name, and more importantly, the unwavering love and power of her brother, had shattered the injustice. The courtroom, once a place of fear, now echoed with the promise of a more equitable future.